So let me ask you something. That voice inside your head, yeah, the one listening to me right now, have you ever really stopped to think about it? We're going to dive into this because what if that you isn't really a thing at all, but a process, a kind of paradoxical, self-creating loop?
I mean, it's got to be one of the oldest questions there is, right? What is that I that sits right at the center of your whole world? It feels so solid, so there, but the moment you try to grab a hold of it, really pin it down, poof, it just seems to disappear.
Well, it turns out that science has an answer, and it's a strange one, pulled from logic, from computer science, even from neuroscience. It's honestly one of the most fascinating ideas of our time. And the answer isn't a straight line, it's a circle, a very, very strange circle. Okay, so to really get our heads around this I, we need a new tool for our toolkit. It's called a strange loop. This is a concept that was cooked up by cognitive scientist Douglas Hofstadter. So let's kind of build up our understanding of what this thing actually is.
The best way to get a feel for this idea is to actually see it. Let's check out some amazing examples from art and music. You've probably seen Escher's drawing of two hands, right? Each one is literally drawing the other into existence. It's a system that creates itself. Or think about the Penrose staircase, that impossible set of stairs that goes up and up and up forever, but somehow lands you right back where you started. It even happens in music. Bach wrote this incredible piece of music, a canon, that just keeps rising in pitch. Until, almost like magic, it loops right back to where it began. You see the pattern here? They all share this amazing paradoxical feature.
So let's nail this down. What exactly is a strange loop? At its core, it's a paradoxical structure. It's when you're moving through different levels of something, say from simple to complex or from the concrete to the abstract, and you expect to reach a top or a bottom, but you don't. Instead, you get this surprise twist, and you find yourself right back where you started.
And here it is, straight from the man himself, Douglas Hofstadter. He said this strange loop phenomenon happens whenever we move through the levels of a system and, unexpectedly, find ourselves right back where we started. The key words there are hierarchical system and unexpectedly. It totally feels like a magic trick, right? Like it shouldn't be possible, but it's a real, genuine property of certain systems.
And get this isn't just some artsy, philosophical idea. It has deep roots in pure mathematics. A guy named Kurt Gödel proved something absolutely mind-blowing, that any complex logical system, even math itself, is fundamentally incomplete. And how did he do it? He created a statement within math that basically said, this statement cannot be proven. Think about that. It creates this incredible paradox. The system has true statements inside of it that it can't prove using its own rules. That little bit of self-referential magic, that's the logical bedrock of the whole strange loop idea.
Okay, so now that we have this powerful tool, the strange loop, let's do something interesting. Let's look back in time, because it turns out centuries ago, ancient mystics were grappling with the very same idea. Not with math and logic, but with spirituality.
You see, in Sufi mysticism, they talk about two different ways of knowing. There's what they call ma'rifa, which is your standard intellectual knowledge, the stuff you learn from a book. But then there's irfan, and that's totally different. It's a direct, personal, experiential kind of knowledge. And how do you get it? By turning inward on a self-referential journey. Sounds a little familiar, doesn't it?
Listen to this incredible quote from the Sufi master Ibn Arabi. He said, "God's essence is the purest mirror, and the one who looks into it sees himself only." Just wow. The journey to find God is actually a journey to a mirror, where what you find in the end is yourself. The observer becomes the observed. I mean, if that's not a classic strange loop, I don't know what is.
What's so wild about this is that we're looking at a centuries-old spiritual path that is, for all intents and purposes, structurally identical to the supermodern scientific concept. The journey outward to find something ultimate loops right back to become a journey inward to the self, and in doing so, it changes you.
All right, let's bring it back from the ancient soul to something we all use, every single second of every day. Language. Because, and this is a wild thought, it turns out we pretty much talk ourselves into being.
So we've got two big ideas in linguistics. First, there's Noam Chomsky, who showed that every single human language has this recursive engine built into it, a set of rules that can loop back on themselves to create endless new sentences. But then you've also got the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. And this idea says that the language we speak isn't just a neutral tool for describing the world. Oh no, it actively shapes and carves up the reality we experience.
So what does this recursion in language actually loop like? Well, it's pretty simple actually. You start with something basic, like the cat. Then you can add a layer, the dog that chased the cat. And another, the man who saw the dog that chased the cat. You can just keep going forever. We're embedding ideas inside of other ideas. This nested looping structure, that's basically the engine of human thought. Okay, so let's put those two things together. You have this infinitely looping structure of language, and the idea that language shapes reality. The conclusion is, well, it's pretty powerful. Our language doesn't just describe our reality. Its looping, recursive nature is actually what helps create it. It's like the loom that weaves the very fabric of our consciousness.
And all of this, of course, brings us to the really big question on everyone's mind today. If our consciousness is a strange loop, can we build one? Can we program one into a machine? Can an AI ever become truly, genuinely conscious?
Before we can answer that, we need to grab one last piece of the puzzle, a concept called uncomputability. It sounds complicated, but here's the gist. There are some problems out there that are so fundamentally tricky, no computer program could ever solve them. Not now, not ever. It doesn't matter how smart the programmer is or how powerful the computer is. The famous halting problem is a great example. These problems represent a hard, fundamental limit to what algorithms can ever do.
So when we put human consciousness side by side with today's AI, the differences become really clear. Our consciousness seems to have this genuine, built-in self-reference. It's Gödelian, which is a fancy way of saying we can step outside our own mental rules and look at them. And crucially, it seems to be uncomputable. Current AI, though, it's all algorithms. It's completely bound by its programming, and everything it does is, by definition, computable.
And this leads to a pretty stunning conclusion. If human consciousness really is born from a strange loop, one that's genuinely paradoxical and uncomputable, then a system that is purely algorithmic, no matter how ridiculously complex it gets, might never be able to replicate it. It wouldn't be a technical challenge we just haven't solved yet. It would be a fundamental, unbreakable barrier.
Okay, so let's take a breath. We've seen this strange loop idea pop up in ancient spirituality, in the very structure of our language, and even in the future of AI. So for our last step, let's zoom all the way out and put all these pieces together, because where we land is truly mind-bending.
Here's something wild. Modern physics and philosophy, they seem to be arriving at the same radical idea. Thinkers like Henri Bergson and, more recently, Carlo Rovelli are all pointing to this. Maybe the universe isn't made of things, static objects. Maybe reality itself is just a collection of processes, interactions, and events. And if that's true, well, it changes everything. It means the strange loop isn't just some weird, quirky feature of our own minds. It might actually be the fundamental pattern of reality itself. We don't live in a universe of nouns. We live in a universe of verbs, a universe of loops.
So that leaves us with one last big provocative thought to chew on. If the whole universe is just this web of interacting processes, then maybe each one of our individual conscious loops, its unique I, is just one small ripple, one little eddy in a much, much larger, interconnected, cosmic strange loop. What do you think about that?